Once upon a time, in a small quiet town, there lived a young man named Sam. Sam was an ordinary guy with an extraordinary curiosity. He worked at the local bookstore, spending his days surrounded by tales of adventure, mystery, and faraway lands. But deep down, Sam felt stuck. He longed for something more, something that would make him feel alive, but he didn't know where to start. His fear of failure and the unknown held him back, leaving him restless and unsure of his place in the world. One rainy afternoon, as Sam was organizing a stack of old books donated to the store, he stumbled upon a peculiar, weathered map tucked inside the pages of a dusty, leather-bound journal. The map was hand-drawn, with intricate details of a hidden treasure buried deep in the forest. An X mark was scrawled in faded ink at the edge of the parchment. Sam's heart raced. Could this be real? He felt a spark of excitement but quickly hesitated. What if it's a waste of time? What if I get lost or hurt? His self-doubt crept in, but something inside him pushed back. What if this is the adventure I've been waiting for? After a sleepless night, Sam decided to take the risk. The next morning, armed with a map, a flashlight, and a sense of determination, Sam set off into the forest. The trail was overgrown and barely visible, but the map guided him through winding paths, across bubbling streams, and past towering trees. Hours passed, and just as Sam began to wonder if he was chasing a wild goose, he stumbled upon a clearing with a large, moss-covered boulder. According to the map, this was the spot. But as Sam began digging, he heard a rustling behind him. He turned to see a tall, shadowy figure emerging from the trees. It was a man named Leo, a notorious treasure hunter who had been searching for the same treasure for years. Leo had followed Sam, hoping to steal the map and now the treasure. "Step away from the chest, kid," Leo growled, his voice low and threatening. "That doesn't belong to you." Sam's heart pounded. He was no match for Leo's size and experience, but as he glanced at the chest, he felt a surge of determination. This was his discovery. He wasn't going to let someone take it from him. Summoning his courage, Sam stood his ground. "I found it first. It's mine." Leo smirked and lunged toward him. Sam dodged, grabbing the chest and running deeper into the forest. The chase was on. Branches whipped at his face and his leg burned with exhaustion. But Sam pushed forward, driven by a mix of fear and adrenaline. He finally reached a cliffside with nowhere to go. Leo closed in, his eyes gleaming with triumph. But as Sam clutched the chest, he noticed a narrow ledge leading to a hidden cave. Without thinking, he leaped onto it, barely making it to safety. Leo, too bulky to follow, cursed and shouted threats before retreating into the forest. Inside the cave, Sam opened the chest. He found not gold or jewels, but a collection of strange artifacts. A compass that glowed faintly, a journal filled with cryptic notes, and a small, intricately carved wooden box. As Sam opened the box, a soft melodic hum filled the air. Inside was a shimmering crystal that seemed to pulse with energy. Suddenly, the forest around him seemed to come alive. Birds chirped louder, the wind whispered through the trees, and the sunlight broke through the canopy in golden beams. Sam felt a strange connection to the world around him, as if the crystal had awakened something within him. But the crystal's power came with a responsibility that Sam hadn't anticipated. The journal revealed that the crystal was a relic of immense power, capable of healing and restoring life, but it could also be misused. Leo wasn't the only one who would seek it. Sam realized he had to protect it, not just from the treasure hunters, but from anyone who might exploit its power. Over the following weeks, Sam struggled with his new role. He felt torn between his old life and the weight of this newfound responsibility. He missed the simplicity of the bookstore, but he couldn't ignore the crystal's call. He began using its power to help his neighbors, reviving their gardens and even curing a sick animal. But every act of kindness came with the fear of being discovered. One night, Leo returned, this time with a group of mercenaries. They stormed Sam's home, demanding the crystal. Sam, now more confident in his abilities, used the crystal's energy to create a barrier of light, driving them away. But he knew this wouldn't be the end. The conflict was far from over. Sam decided to confront Leo directly. He tracked him to a rundown cabin on the edge of the forest. As he approached, he heard a child's weak cough from the inside. Peering through the window, Sam saw Leo kneeling beside a young girl, no older than 8, lying pale and frail on a cot. Leo's voice was soft, a stark contrast to the harsh man Sam had encountered. "Hang on, Mia," Leo whispered, brushing a strand of hair from her forehead. "I'll find a way to save you. I promise." Sam's heart sank. He had assumed Leo was just another greedy treasure hunter. But now he saw the truth. Leo was a desperate father, willing to do anything to save his dying daughter. The crystal's power could heal her, but Sam knew the risks. If Leo took it, there was no telling what else he might do with it. Sam stepped inside, holding the crystal in his hand. Leo spun around, his eyes widening in surprise and anger. "You!" he snarled, rising to his feet. "Give me the crystal!" "I know why you want it," Sam said calmly. "But this thing, it's dangerous. It's not just a tool. It changes people. It could destroy everything if it falls in the wrong hands." Leo's face twisted with desperation. "I don't care about any of that. My daughter is dying. This is the only thing that can save her. Please, I'm begging you." Sam looked at Mia, her shallow breaths barely keeping her alive. He felt the weight of the crystal in his hand, its energy humming softly. He thought about the journal's warnings, about the responsibility he had taken on. But he also thought about Leo's love for his daughter, about the lengths a parent would go to for their child. "I'll heal her," Sam said finally. "But you have to promise me something. No more chasing the crystal. No more violence. You have to let go of this obsession." Leo hesitated, his eyes flickering between Sam and Mia. Finally, he nodded, his shoulders slumping in defeat. "I promise. Just save her." Sam knelt beside Mia and placed the crystal on her chest. He closed his eyes, focusing on the energy within the crystal, willing it to heal her. The crystal began to glow brighter, its light enveloping Mia in a warm golden aura. Slowly, her color returned, and her breathing steadied. She opened her eyes, blinking up at her father with a weak smile. "Daddy?" she whispered. Leo choked back a sob, pulling her into his arms. "I'm here, sweetheart, I'm here." But as Sam watched, something unexpected happened. The crystal began to dissolve, its energy seeping into Sam's hands. He felt a surge of power coursing through him, as if the crystal had chosen him as its new vessel. The light faded, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air. Sam staggered back, his mind racing. What did this mean? Was he now the keeper of the crystal's power? He looked at Leo, who was still holding Mia, tears streaming down his face. But something about Leo's expression caught Sam's attention. There was a flicker of pain, a subtle weakness in his movements that Sam hadn't noticed before. "Leo," Sam said slowly, "are you sick too?" Leo froze, his eyes widening. For a moment, he looked like he might deny it, but then he sighed, his shoulders slumping. "Yeah, I've been hiding it. I had to stay strong for her." Sam felt a pang of sympathy. Leo wasn't just a treasure hunter. He was a man fighting his own battles, trying to protect his daughter even as his own health failed. Sam stepped forward, placing a hand on Leo's shoulder. "Let me help you." Leo shook his head. "No, you've already done enough. I don't deserve it." "This isn't about deserving," Sam said firmly. "It's about doing what's right." He focused on the energy within him, channeling it into Leo. The golden light enveloped him, and for a moment, Leo looked stunned. Then, the color returned to his face, and the tension in his body eased. He took a deep breath, as if he hadn't been able to breathe properly in years. "Thank you," Leo whispered, his voice choked with emotion. "I don't know how to repay you." "You can start by keeping your promise," Sam said. "No more chasing the crystal. No more violence. We have to use this power responsibly." Leo nodded, his expression serious. "I'll do whatever it takes. I owe you that much." In the weeks that followed, Sam and Leo formed an unlikely partnership. Leo became Sam's guardian, using his skills and knowledge to protect him as they traveled, secretly healing those in need. They moved from town to town, helping the sick and the suffering, always careful to avoid drawing too much attention. Sam learned to harness the crystal's energy, using it to heal not just people, but the land itself. Withered crops sprang back to life, polluted rivers ran clear, and barren fields bloomed with flowers. But with each act of healing, Sam noticed something strange. A small amount of energy would seep out of him and into the person he healed. At first, he thought nothing of it, but over time, he began to see a pattern. The people he healed would, in turn, heal someone else. A farmer whose crops Sam revived would share his bounty with a starving family. A mother cured of illness would nurse her sick child back to health. The energy, it seemed, was spreading, creating a ripple effect of kindness and healing. But as the years passed, Sam began to feel the toll of his gift. Each act of healing drained him, and the energy within him grew weaker. He grew older, his hair turning gray and his steps slowing. Leo, too, aged, though he remained steadfast by Sam's side, protecting him as they continued their journey. One day, as they sat by a campfire under a starry sky, Sam turned to Leo. "I think I've used up all the energy. I can feel it fading." Leo nodded, his expression somber. "You've done more than anyone could ask for, Sam. You've changed countless lives. It's time to rest." Sam smiled, feeling a sense of peace he hadn't known before. "You're right, but I'm not done yet. There's still one more thing I can do." In the years that followed, Sam and Leo settled in a small cabin on the edge of the forest. They spent their days sharing their stories with young adventurers who stumbled upon them, passing on the lessons they had learned. They spoke of the power of kindness, of the importance of using one's gift to help others, and of the ripple effect that even the smallest act of goodness could create. And though Sam's energy was gone, his legacy lived on. The people he had healed continued to spread the light he had given them, creating a chain of kindness that stretched far beyond the forest. Sam and Leo, now old and gray, spent their remaining years in peace, knowing they had made a difference, one act of healing at a time.